Future Hacker. Life. Path. Future.
Welcome back, everybody, to Future Hacker. This is the second episode with Itai Talmi. So, Itai, we ended the first episode talking about how important it is to have empathy when you're an entrepreneur, right? Or pretty much when you're doing anything in life, honestly. So you think that the world is moving forward towards understanding the value of empathy. You also state that you do not aim at an utopian or dystopian futures. You believe in Protopia. And I absolutely love that. Could you share this vision of yours?
Yes, of course. It's not my vision. I myself got it from Kevin Kelly. He actually came with the term Protopia. So Protopia or dystopia, it's a state where it's better than today and it's better than yesterday. And it's kind of a state of becoming. It's not really a destination. Kind of Kaizen kind of approach. It's kind of a continuous improvement. Let's see what kind of futures are we exploring, and let's adopt as we go. It's like kind of let's build the airplane as we fly, in a way, because that's the only thing we can do. Nobody can predict the future. The natural tendency is towards dystopia. My natural tendency is towards utopia, but it's just two historical terms. We don't need to clinch into them. I mean, it doesn't have to be that or that. It doesn't be extreme utopia, which sounds unrealistic to a lot of people, then dystopia, which sounds very realistic sometimes and very disturbing and horrible. So let's just be better. Let's just improve ourselves as we go. A Buddhist lady told me when I studied at THNK, make little celebrations. Just every day celebrate little things instead of waiting for the big thing. So it's kind of going with the flow kind of thing. Well, for some people have different agenda. I think the world now is very clear that there are two kind of vectors going on in the world. The humanistic one that calls, so actually it's kind of the me versus the we. It's kind of the us is fighting the one. So you can see a lot of technological innovations around what we call platform concept, which is a marketplace, which is a community place. There's a lot of community kind of gatherings of all kinds, a lot of sharing. The sharing economy talks about us, talks about stakeholder thinking, talks about enabling as many people as possible in creating value, and that the value will be distributed evenly and democratically between everybody and not just to one person. So there's a lot of business concepts that works like that. The sharing economy is a huge industry. There are billions of dollars in it, and it goes bigger and bigger. Even in the elections in the US, you can see it in many, many countries. All kinds of political moves that people are kind of sick in a way from all these one person rules everything and let's exclude these people. Let's create us and them. People are trying to break walls, to break divide. So that all talks about empathy. Empathy is containing the existence of another person, of another entity. Doesn't matter if it's a dog, a bird, a white or black, or doesn't matter what creature it is. It's containing and enabling its prosperity and letting it mobilize and live like anybody else. Everybody's, if you want to call it equal, but it doesn't matter. It's not about equality. It's about letting everybody shine. So yeah, it's all about empathy. You can see these empathic forces are working very strong. Confronting them are still people, you can call it, from my point of view, the yesterday people and the tomorrow people. The yesterday people are people like, if you want to mention names, I don't know, but there are two famous brothers in the US that each one of them sits with like $40 billion and they invest billions every year in order to fight climate issues, greater society issues, liberal issues, humanistic issues, only push shareholders, companies or ideas that benefiting the top 1%, the old colonialism, the old imperialism, against Jews, against Brazilians, against anybody that doesn't fit into their own mold that they created. And that's a bit problem. But It's really strong forces, again, strong forces. And it only takes one little flame or one big flame to shift. It's like a pendulum, the pendulum shifts and shifts. And I hope that empathy will overcome, and empathy will overcome in a way that people will somehow experience and then understand that they can value more in that way.
And that's a great hope and a great way to help, for sure, Itai. So listen, in one of your lectures, you talk about the new sobriety, that we are living in an era when social rules and business models are between the no more and the not yet. Could we dig deeper into that?
Yeah, I think we live in an asynchronic reality. It's kind of a chaos point. It means that the world is in a very advanced stage, but the old system, the existing systems, are still not catching up with the pace and the level of development. So we're kind of in between. We're stuck in the middle in a way. The now is kind of confused. It creates a lot of confusion. And people are actually seeing that one collides into the other. You see that it doesn't work. What we grew up on, all the axiomas, all the paradigms, all the institutions, all the even kind of governing systems, everything doesn't really work with that kind of reality. The pace is different. The demands are different. People are different. The options are much more open. The speed is different. The pace of change is quicker than the pace of the people in power ability to change. So that's why I call it the new sobriety. People are kind of crushing into reality that they see, wow, every day I find something else that I believed in, which doesn't work anymore. I cannot believe it anymore. You can see the level of trust in organization is going down all the time. You can see that people are waking up from that kind of manufactured normalcy, this kind of brandalism of brands for decades were kind of holding us in that kind of simulacra, in that kind of mechanistic world of brands. And we believe that the world is like that. And it still happens, but more and more people are finding themselves much more cautious, much more responsible when they choose, when they make decisions. They look at more variance, more values. This hurts the planet. This one is breaking the rules. This one is immoral. This one doesn't treat its workers right. Because the communication it's much more open, and we hear the inside stuff, and the truth is such a fluid concept that we are kind of waking up in a way. We're waking up in many, many fragile little moments. Some people are accepting it, containing it, facing it, talking about it, doing something about it. Other people are just, some people are taking it very hard. You can see that the rate of psychological and psychiatric phenomena are rising. I mean, the drug companies are making much more money. They're trying to keep the pace of new drugs that are needed in the market for all kinds of psychiatric phenomena. You see PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. It used to be kind of a wartime thing. I mean, but now people are getting PTSD and ADD from reality, from confronting some kind of an institution, from work, and you can take a pill. So everyone takes it in a different way, but it creates all kinds of scenarios. People are asking questions. There's a big question mark written on the area that we live in. It's like a paradox, and contradictions are living in the same time. In one side of the world, you can see extreme empathy and wonderful things. On the other side, you can see Trump and things that existed in the Nazi regime. For me, yeah, it is hard, but it's also for me it's like Lego cubes, It's like elastic material I can work with. It's very interesting. I always say that I'm working in futures, but, oh God, no, we do not predict and we do not forecast. We can create all kinds of alternative and possible futures and design all kinds of futures, but nobody can predict the future. I don't know how long it will take, this kind of new sobriety and this kind of collision, this kind of world of paradox, if you want. It might stay like that for many, many years. I don't see reaching a new light and end of the tunnel kind of thing where heaven coming into plethora or kind of a green fields of heaven and stuff. No, it will always be like that. And it's part of evolution. We will have to adapt to it. by technology, physically, our DNA will change. Babies in 20 years from now will look completely different. The job that my 8-year-old daughter will work hasn't been invented yet. So we just have to adopt and be astonished, and it's like wow moments. That's it. You can see it also for many years. They used to talk about FOMO, the fear of missing out. And now they talk about JOMO, the joy of missing out. That also kind of, people want to get out of that kind of matrix. This is why Burning Man is so extremely popular. And people go to Burning Man to look for creativity, to find the new entrepreneurs, to find the new spirit, to find the new renegades that can adapt to this kind of reality. So a lot of Silicon Valley is in Burning Man to learn how these new creatures of this new era are doing it, you know?
Itai, let me ask you something. So you also mentioned the Quantified Self Movement. Tell me about it.
The quantified self is something extremely important, and I think everyone should be aware of it, and everyone will be aware of it, even if they like it or not. The quantified self is actually started with a Dutch group, together with some people, if I remember well, from the Singularity University, like even more than 10 years ago. And what they were talking about was, it started with this kind of quantifying your blood pressure and heartbeat so you can measure yourself while you run, while you jog. And Nike did this kind of a little, still in use today, this kind of watches. But it developed very quickly into critical issues. It developed into all kinds of moral issues, extremely important identity and moral issues. And what we're talking about is the question of, or the need, imperative of creating my own IP, to register my own IP, because as the cyber goes and progress more and more, and people are hacking into everything, they can hack into me. Medical companies really need all my information. I'm a walking treasure for them. Everyone is a walking treasure for them. They want to hack me. They want to measure me. They want to alternate my DNA. I mean, in the lab, of course, morally and illegally, sometimes illegally. You hear about in China all kinds of illegal labs that are stealing humans, stealing animals, and doing all kinds of Dr. Mengele-style experiments. So our body might be hacked, and it might be hacked in ways that we haven't been imagining yet. I'll give you a small example. I mean, it goes into daily life. Just before that, so the quantified self is asking, do we need new kinds of lawyers or a new kind of law profession which actually defends us? How do we register ourselves, our intellectual property, our copyright about who we are, about what we carry as human beings, our existence, our blood, our DNA, whatever? For example, if you take the Internet of Things, if you connect your refrigerator and your car and your air condition and everything is connected, and you have a really cool app, like in the advertising, you're in your Tesla and you're pushing 2 buttons and the coffee machine starts to work and the gate opens, the hot water in your bath starting, all this cool, happy life, happy camp, hunky-dory kind of life. But in the same time, a hacker that sits somewhere from whatever side or religion or mission or commander that sent him, from whatever reason, can hack into your coffee machine. From there, he can hack into your car and have control of your brakes or your engine. So there's another side for that. The us is more than just our body, because the mobile phone is an extension of ourselves, and it controls the rest of our ecosystem. Each one of us has an ecosystem. It includes the family member, their friends, their house, the property, the papers, the blood, the DNA, everything. And you can hack from here to there. If you can hack here, you can hack to. I have a friend in Israel that invented an app. They can check your pee and it can check your blood on the phone. And from the phone, it goes into straight directly to your doctor. And if you can hack from the mobile, even part of your body, so quantified yourself is actually something. It should be a movement. Listen, you better quantify yourself so you can know your worth and your rights. And you have somebody that can protect your IP of yourself and family, whatever, and your ecosystem. And on the other side, quantified self is a huge industry. The potential is enormous. So actually, you can say that everything is about quantified self. I mean, if I'm a customer or a client or a patient or a human being, everything is quantified self. Everybody's chasing us.
I love how you're bringing this up and that's usually a question that I ask most of our guests. It's like when we're talking about all the advancements in technology, the interconnectivity between everything, how hackable we're becoming and how vulnerable we are becoming at the same time, and how so many rules still will have to be defined, right? I love that you brought this view. And you also mentioned this multi-sensorial experience in a futuristic well-being center. So what are you envisioning here?
Okay, actually it started from a project I did, I think it was, more than 15 years ago. When I worked in England, I was involved in all kinds of projects on strategic projects and brand projects on the future of well-being and the future of fitness centers and health centers and all that genre of things that started to flourish in the UK and everywhere in the world. And when I came back to Israel, I was asked by two wealthy entrepreneurs, to envision and to create a prototype of the future of a well-being center in an urban surrounding. So for that project, I was extremely happy, of course. We're kind of an open project, quite rare, because we actually had to create a program, like an architectural program, and to actually do it in reality. Like it's going to be open and people are going to be in it and it's going to work. So that's very rare. So I took all kinds of people for that project. Usually what I do is I assemble King Arthur round table kind of work. I have a social philosopher, an urbanist, an architect, a designer, a design thinker, a business technology scientist, philosopher, depends what I do. And we investigated, researched, what is the future of urban living from all kinds of vectors. So one of the vectors was time, flow time, which I like a lot, the concept of time. What we understood is that we need to create something that is... Are you familiar with the term staycation? Staycation means that you stay, it's a vacation that you stay in your city. So we thought of the daily routine of people, it kind of breaks into little molecules of time that needs to produce all kinds of ways to renew yourself, to refresh yourself, to be ready for your next hurdle, your next race, your next task, the next day, the next month. You need breaks to focus yourself again, to clean stuff from yourself, and be creative if you need, or be whatever, and be relaxed. So you don't have time to go on vacation and do it. So we tried to create what kind of cycle of actions will do that. And that was this kind of multisensorial approach, which created a place where, not in stations, but it has everything a person needs, all kinds of treatments that he needs on a social level, on a mental level, on a physical level, on an emotional level. And each one of these contexts will have a specific treatment that will help him in a very short and focused manner, will prepare him, and he can go into his day again or whatever. We looked at few words. We looked at Formula One, actually, because it really resembles the pace that we live in. Formula One, you know, the cars, they have a pit stop crew. It's like the car is busy in its race, and then it goes to stops in a very specific, it's called pit stop. And for less than 2 seconds, like 12 or 15 people are jumping on your car and on you and fixing you and calibrating you to exactly what you need to go with the flow and keep with the pace, exactly in what point, power and energy that you need to be in an optimized way. So this is what we wanted, like a place in the city. You are busy with your own race and you get in, you stop, you get what you need, like in a pit stop, and you go out. You didn't lose any pace, but actually you gain more energy and you're better and you can continue your race and win or whatever. We did with nutrition, we did with the body, we did with gymnastics, we did with all kinds of special spiritual and physical treatments. Every technology-based and human-based. It was really like a club that really one of its kind. And it opened in Israel and it was a model. We wrote the model, we even wrote the scripts for the employers and everything. And we kind of built the whole place, was built in a very unique way. We took from Zen, we took from all kinds of emblems, Japanese emblems. And it was a big success. So it's multisensorial. It means that we need to attend, we need to take care of all of our senses, because all of our senses are on alert all the time, from many, many sides, all our senses. And we need to take care of them, to regulate them, to take care of them, to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, I absolutely love your vision and actually everything you had to say today. And it's one of those interviews that somehow just make me very optimistic about things. And you know what? I really appreciate that you were able to have this time with us. Unfortunately, we have to end. We are out of time. But you will be always welcome here at Future Hacker. Anything new that you have. I did see one of your presentations with the lecture you're giving to young people, and it's inspiring and it's intriguing, right? And it's make us think a lot about the future. A lot of different concepts in there. So thank you so much for being here with us today. If you have any final words to share with our listeners, please do.
Oh, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm flattered. What I want to say is always break the rules. Break them beautifully, deliberately, and well. That's what I want to say to everybody.
I love that. Thank you. Thank everybody for listening.
Thank you.
Future Hacker. Life. Path. Future.